$8 million to make mice transgender. Is this real life?
And you were allowed to vote. Is this real life? Now, this woman's talking about something in particular about transgender mice, but where did she get that from?
$8 million for making mice transgender.
No, that sounds insane.
This is real.
All right, so this was another one of those, if Trump said it, it has to be true moments. But Trump actually misspoke here big time. Because what Trump should have said is scientists were making mice transgenic, not transgender. And as you can see here, transgenic mouse technology has revolutionized virtually all fields of biology and provided new genetic approaches to model many human diseases in a whole animal context. So as you can see here in the transgenic mouse model, scientists add human cells to mice so that when they introduce diseases and study them, these mice and their tissue react more like human tissue. And that's how we end up at a University of Cincinnati website where they're talking about their $8 million study to continue gene-environment interaction research. So yeah, Dunny, instead of stopping research where you say it was transgender mice, you actually stopped research that might help us figure out how diseases affect the human body. And you, Danielle, you bought the whole thing hook, line, and sinker just because it came out of Trump's mouth. Shame on you.
One thing we should note is that Elon Musk got a huge ovation at the State of the Union, but when he got in the room with those members of Congress yesterday, it was apparently much less effusive because they were worried. You know, the fact is that if you ask Americans, should we eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse from the government, you'll get a lot of response for that. If you start defining waste, fraud, and abuse as things that they value and workers that are essential, they're going to have a much different view. So the initial blush of Musk with his chainsaw may have had some resonance. The fact that he's cutting down stuff indiscriminately, less so.
Well, it's not all indiscriminate. I mean, we don't really need the transgender mice, do we? I mean,
that's not even real.
It is real. I'm sorry, man. It's real.
No, listen.
Is it real or not?
Hey, hold on a second.
Did we have to say it was real or not?
No, hold
it's
on.
real.
I mean, Musk is a shield.
How about the
That's a real thing.
No,
so my point is,
listen. What they weren't talking about trans.
Don't defend the mice.
No. Listen, you don't want to talk about it. We don't talk about it. But it wasn't transgender. It was a different term that was misinterpreted as transgender. They were actually doing basic medical experiments on mice to figure out.
Don't spoil a good troll.
It's just not true.
Jennings is having a good troll. Don't spoil it.
Here's the point. They have found some things.
Yes.
And the greatest public relations advice I could give them is this. You found stuff, you're going to find more stuff, and there's going to come a point where you could take this to the Congress and have a really good hearing and a really good public display. That is the next iteration.
For the record, this is not a new thing.
Yes. No.
Yeah, you notice how they didn't answer the question. So CNN basically had to go back and re-edit.
I saw this on X. Yeah, they had to, because they basically came out and said Trump was wrong, and then it turns out he wasn't wrong, so they had to correct themselves.
So they spent $8 million to make mice transgender. Remember when Alex Jones said they making the frogs gay? He was right. He was right.
It turned out they were making the frogs gay.
How much did they spend on that?
That's a good question.
Hold on. They was actually turning the frogs gay.
Yeah, there was like a chemical in the water they were giving the frogs that was making them gay.
He was close enough. Regardless, frogs.
So they was putting it in the water.
Why is that surprising? Now that we know that they were turning the mice trans, it makes sense they were turning the frogs gay.
No wonder why they don't got no water in California. Everybody been...
No, I'm joking. Hey, bro, that is actually hilarious.
Scroll down,
bro.
let's read it.
Oh my God, that's hilarious, bro.
So CNN backfired on one of his fact checks of President Donald Trump's address to a joint session of Congress after claiming he falsely asserted that federal money was used on transgender experiments with mice. CNN journalist Deard McPhillips asserted that Trump falsely claimed that Tuesday night that the Department of Government Efficiency identified $8 million that was spent on making mice transgender. Instead, she argued that grants were given to projects applied to hormone therapy to monkeys to understand the effects on HIV treatment.
Wow.
Scroll a little more. Scroll down just a little more. It says the fact check continued. Transgender women 50 times more likely to be infected. However, an edited version of the fact check changed the assertion on Wednesday from falsely claimed to needs context, adding the White House has since put out a list of federal grants involving mice receiving transgender treatments. Or it says receiving gender transition treatments.
CNN is cooked.
We spent $8 million.
Wow. At first, I really thought it was false.
I did too.
Damn. Why would it be false? Because it doesn't seem real that we would spend $8 million on making our mice transgender.
This is more about the White House list. This is the White House list made clear what Trump in the speech did not. The studies were meant to figure out how these treatments might affect the health of human who take them, and not for the purpose of making mice transgender.
Hold on, bro. Why would
the fact
that
check
be
now reads though?
So they're just cutting off the rats' balls and testicles and making it have a coochie.
Pretty much, I guess.
So are they putting a dangling? Are they putting a dangling on the female?
Hold on, we don't know. Hold on, no, go back up. Right.
That's a real question.
It says the article has been updated with context about the spending, which was for research studies on the potential human health impacts of treatments used in gender affirming care.
Wow.
And remember, we just pulled up that study the other day from Oxford that said gender affirming surgery causes mental health problems, and Oxford is a liberal school.
Damn.
And then they probably on top of that giving them anxiety medicine and some other shit. So
and then complain about big pharma.
Purpose of making an opening statement. Good afternoon. Late last year, the White Coat Waste Project exposed more than $10 million in taxpayer funds that were spent creating transgender mice, rats, and monkeys.
this is crazy.
These DEI grants funded painful and deadly transgender experiments that forced lab animals to undergo invasive surgeries and hormone therapies at universities across the country.
Damn.
For example, the Biden-Harris administration spent $2.5 million taxpayer dollars, $2.5 million taxpayer dollars to study the fertility of transgender mice.
That's weird.
They know they're not going to have babies.
Let that sink
and
in.
they're still trying
We
to
spent over
see.
$2 million studying the fertility of transgender mice. So we spent over $1 million to find out if female rats receiving testosterone therapy were more likely to overdose on a date rape drug.
Wow.
Like, that's what your taxpayer dollars were being spent on. Federal funds were also used to forcibly transition male monkeys to see if hormone therapy made them more susceptible to HIV.
Wow.
Now, I didn't know this until recently, but monkeys cannot be infected with HIV. Yet this federally funded experiment forced them to take hormone-altering drugs to study a virus they cannot have.
Monkeys
they were
can't have
surgically
HIV?
mutating animal genitals. Like, taxpayer money went to that. So my question is, were they
This is
castrating
evil, bro.
mice, castrating monkeys? Were they getting double
insane.
mastectomies? The language that they used in many of these experiments were, quote, gender affirming care, which I learned about 3 years ago what that meant. I thought that was maybe just some hormones or something something like that. But apparently gender affirming care is actually surgical mutilation of genitals. And apparently it's not just humans, they're doing it too. We were doing it with taxpayer dollars to animals.
Wow.
No, they had a monkey testing lab in New Iberia. Did y'all know that?
Louisiana?
Yeah. Somebody told me that like they was testing like COVID vaccines on the monkeys out there.
Nah, this is absolutely insane.
I ain't gonna lie, bro.
I don't know if
I
that's
don't
true.
wanna-
That's just what I was told.
The more and the more I keep hearing stuff, it just made me just feel like
Not tripping.
the Democrats are tripping too bad, bro.
Like I said, if they were in control, we would be on our way to the deepest pit of hell.
Bro, the
And
more,
you know
the,
what's
the more
crazy?
knowledge we continue to gain as we continue to go down this journey, it's just like I just further cement myself into my opinion. Like, I know I'm not tripping. No matter what anyone says to me, they want to read the social media crap to me. I don't give a damn, bro. My
It's
opinion
over.
is rooted in fact.
They just seeing the top surface.
But I'm
Bro,
gonna
they
keep it
just
100.
they being led.
Every time I see somebody that's trying to argue about the problems, when you look at the profile picture and look what the type of person is arguing with you,
They have blue hair and a bull ring.
All Black Lives Matter fist up.
so it's just over with for me, you know?
For a deeper dive and a fact check on many of the
She's
claims the
defending
president
it.
made last night, I'm joined now by our White House correspondent, Laura Barone Lopez. Laura, so let's just start with some of the biggest claims of the night. What stood out to you in terms of the areas that President Trump focused on?
So this is not an exhaustive list, but these are some of the key misleading, exaggerated, or false statements that the president made, starting with the fact that he said 21 million undocumented immigrants entered the United States under Biden. It was actually under 11 million, and many were rapidly expelled. He said that 350 billion has been spent on supporting Ukraine. It's actually just over 180 billion. That's according to the Ukraine Oversight Inspector General, and that includes money that's spent inside the U.S. on weapons manufacturing. The president also said that fentanyl coming from Canada is killing thousands. Actually, only 43 pounds of fentanyl was seized in 2024. 43 pounds of the fentanyl that was seized came from Canada, so about 0.2% of the total amount. And then lastly, the president said that millions are being spent on, quote, making mice transgender. That claim is false.
That last one there, Laura, making mice transgender. What's the reality there?
So again, the idea that scientists are making mice transgender is false. The kinds of research experiments that President Trump and the White House were pointing to is basic scientific research. These studies were not studying if gender-affirming care works. That's a legal medical treatment that's endorsed by major U.S. medical associations. These experiments were studying the effects of gender-affirming hormones on asthma and on whether gender-affirming hormones increase breast cancer risk. So if someone is getting gender-affirming care, does it make an HIV vaccine less effective on that person? Many diseases and conditions are impacted by a person's hormones, Amna, and there is no ethical scenario where scientists will just be immediately experimenting on humans. They always start with rats and mice.
Even all those things she said, that's still a waste of money to me.
Well, let's shoot this monkey with a shot and see if he grows a dick. Literally.
Let's cut his dick off. Literally, they said, let's cut his dick off and see if he can get pregnant. We just gonna keep filling him up with that's what they said they were doing.
You always think it too far. He always takes it way too far.
Too far.
Yeah, bro.
They gonna fill it up with and see if he get pregnant. That's what they said that happened.
All right, you should have kept it at the pregnant.
Yeah,
You went
bro.
too
He
far.
took it too far.
You had to give us the details.
Anyways, yeah, guys.
Just think about it.
I mean, it's embarrassing for them. I can see why they want to call that a lie.
It's embarrassing.
Why is PBS publishing like
false information like
Yeah,
that?
like-
and they was known for the known.
Oh,
We gotta figure something out
it's
about
350 million to Ukraine. Oh, it's only 180 billion.
That's still a lot.
That's still a shit
Let's
ton.
think about this though.
Like, what the
Shouldn't
heck?
we punish? I'm not gonna say punish people at how Europe does, but punish people or punish these companies for spreading false information in some way.
They've been sued. Fox has been
you
sued.
can sue them, yeah.
MSNBC
but
has been sued.
You can't put them in jail.
But the left ideology wants to censor and lock you up for stuff that might be a fact.
Seems
Who's
that
more
way.
extreme here?
We've been through this.
That's insane to me, guys. It's pretty insane. With
Yeah, I know who
Look
to
at him.
choose.
He's a transgender right there on the screen.
Transgender armadillo.
We're out of
They
here,
gonna say
guys.
it's transgender fucking fish.
Let us know what y'all think.